Hey guys, it's Matt here, and today we're going to talk about the 5 pillars of your best launch ever. Now, what do I mean by best launch ever? I am specifically referring in this case to your best affiliate launch, your best JV launch, not as not as the product owner, but as the JV or as the affiliate. We're going to talk about 5 things today that you can do. You can put these into practice right now to make this your best launch ever. Now, as you can see there, my name is Matt McWilliams. You can find me on Twitter at Matt McWilliams2. Don't forget the 2 or you get an egg. And at mattmcwilliams.com, where you'll find more affiliate marketing tips, experiments, case studies, awesome interviews that I do with some of the leaders in this industry. So let's get right in. What are the 5 pillars to make your next launch, your next JV promo, your best ever? Well, number 1, repeated contact. What I mean by that is, one email, one blog post, one podcast episode is not enough to make it your best ever. Now, I'm assuming that if you're watching this right now, your intention is to make it your best ever. It's not, well, I'm going to do okay. I'm going to do reasonably well. This is to make it your best ever. That's why I called this the 5 pillars of your best launch ever. So one email is not enough. One tweet is not enough. One blog post is not enough. It's important to keep up the excitement and the momentum, especially as you enter the home stretch of a launch. So what that means is promote each piece of content, or at least if there's 6 or 7 pieces of pre-launch content, you promote 4 or 5 of them. If there's, an ebook followed by 3 videos followed by 2 webinars, then, pick and choose what works best for your audience. There are different modes of learning. And for instance, I'm one of those people, I don't really watch video series. I opt into a lot of video series because of what I do for a living. So naturally, I'm technically opting in and I'm watching parts of a lot of these video series, but I don't necessarily actually get much out of those as a general rule. However, I get a lot out of webinars. I love webinars. I love audio. I love audio that I can put on. I'm old school. Don't use a smartphone. So I have an iPod. I know I also churn my own butter, but I like putting stuff on my iPod and listening to it at a time that's more convenient for me. And typically, if it's in a launch sequence, that's going to be tomorrow. But you want to offer these different modes just as a side. So if your audience responds better to webinars and videos than ebooks, then maybe you don't promote the ebook. But if your audience responds better to ebooks and videos, then promote those, maybe not the webinar. So repeated contact. That means promote as much as makes sense for your audience. And make sure that you're contacting them throughout the launch. Our average launch, I looked the other day, and for those of you who don't know, we run JV launches for some of the biggest names in online marketing. We've run launches. We continue to for Ray Edwards. We've done stuff for Jeff Goins. We run his launches. We've worked with Lewis Howes and Self-Publishing School, Nick Stevenson from Your First 10,000 Readers. The list goes on. And when we promote those, when we work with them, our average launch sequence is 16, 17 days long. So what you want to do is not just disappear after the first 2 emails. You don't want to maybe email every day for 6 days and then drop off the planet. And so one of the things that we do is we provide mailing plans. We provide checklists, like here's how to contact, how often to contact your audience, what is comfortable for you. But the key is to be, to make it repeated, to not just do 1 or 2, to do, maybe for you it's 4, maybe for you it's 7 for some. I've done as many as 15 before, but repeated contact is key. Secondly is different outlets. I've said a lot about email. You email on this, email about a webinar, email about pre-launch content number 1 and 2 and 3. Well, that could easily be replaced by blog posts. It can be replaced by tweets or Facebook posts or podcast episodes or podcast ads, banner ads, you name it. Use different outlets. As I mentioned before, different people learn in different ways. And so if you have a blog, an email list, a podcast, and you're active on social media, then hit up all the different types. And if you want, use a specific tracking link for each of those and see what works best to your audience. Maybe it works best to to use social media to get them to opt in, but then you switch over more to an email focus. I don't know. I really don't. But the key is to use different outlets. And so that's going to come from experimentation. That's going to come from seeing, throwing stuff up against the wall and seeing what sticks. The key here is to make sure that you're talking about your next launch in as many different places as you can. Maybe it's a 30 or 60-second spot. I've done this really well. That works great for me. I've done like 30-second spots in podcast episodes where I just talk about the book or the launch or whatever it is that I'm promoting, put some little, royalty-free music in the background and rock it. And it's super easy. Super easy to do. I don't have to go on and on. I don't have to have an entire podcast episode dedicated to a launch, but I can fit that in. And if you're doing it, 2-3 times a week podcast over the course of 2 weeks, that's 6, commercials for it. It's great. It's a great way to promote. So make sure you're using different outlets. Make sure that you're tweeting, twice a day about the launch. This means 34 over the course of, over 17 days. But the reality is, how many people are going to see all 34 of those? Most people are going to see 2, 3, maybe 6 or 7 of them. They're not going to grow weary of it. Use Instagram, maybe do show yourself using the course, or if it's a book, show yourself holding the book. Turn swipe copy into blog posts. These are great ways to use different outlets. Number 3 is get personal. If you don't have a personal story, there's a good chance that your promotion of a product or book or whatever it may be to your audience is just not going to resonate. So let's just say it's a book. Let's say it's a book you're promoting and you got an early copy. Well, what did you get out of it personally? I worked more than a year ago now with Jeff Goins on his Art of Work book. And for me, that book personally helped me solidify the direction that I was on at that time. And so when I wrote about that and I wrote about the clarity that I got, my click-through rate as a result and my buy rate of the book was significantly higher than most stuff that I have promoted in the past, simply because I had a real gut honest, quite frankly, touching personal story. So the key here is to get personal. One of the best promotions I've ever seen run was when John Lee Dumas promoted Ray Edwards Copywriting Academy. His conversion rate was through the roof. His EPC, earnings per click, a good EPC is $5. His was in excess of $30. And the simple reason is he said, if you know John Lee Dumas, he's like, hey, Fire Nation, Ray Edwards is my guy. He's the guy that I learned everything I know about copywriting from. I cannot endorse him enough. Well, of course, his audience, his followers, the people who look up to John Lee Dumas are, they're practically tearing down walls to get in to buy the course. So the key here is to get personal. If you're going to make this your best launch ever, you've got to take it to another level, not just say, well, I know this person and I like them. No, it's get personal. Get very personal, get honest, talk about your struggles maybe before using this product and then your success afterwards. That's a great way to do it. Talk about what it meant to you. If it's a book and there's a particular story or chapter in there, talk about what it meant to you. And just get down and dirty, personal on these things. Number 4 is a little bit more tactical, and that's to offer an exclusive bonus. If you've been following online marketing for any amount of time, you've seen this. You've seen, when people are promoting a certain course, you see them offering these exclusive bonuses. The key here is to find something that fits your audience and throw it in as an add-on. And you say, hey, purchase this course or purchase this book, whatever it is, through my link, and you'll get these 1, 2, 3, 4 extra bonuses. Now, I've found that one of the best ways to do this is to ask them, when they purchase that course, to then have to sort of jump through a hoop. Not really, I'm not making them really jump through a hoop, but to submit something to say, I want this bonus. It's just an extra step for them, and it really solidifies that they're committed. Now, a couple of tips here, how do you, I get asked all the time, well, what's the best way to offer a bonus? What's the right amount to offer a bonus? I typically find that somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 50% is a good bonus. So like if the course is $1,000, you don't want to offer a $37 bonus. Like, yippee, big deal. It's what's that, 3.7%, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's not really a valuable bonus. Like I'm spending $1,000 and you're throwing in a PDF. Like, way to go there, right? No, you want to offer somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 to $500 bonus in that case. Could you offer more? Absolutely. I do think personally it gets ridiculous when you have a $1,000 course and here's my $37,000 bonus package. Like, really? Is it really worth $37,000? Like, probably not. It's probably not worth it. It sounds super inflated and I just kind of rule you out. But, some of the best bonuses are, not super high priced. I'll give you an example of some bonuses that I've offered. With a $197 course, I offered a $100 event, a live online event that we charge $100 for, and I offered a $297 workbook. Now it's typically a workbook that I only take, personal coaching clients through, but we offered it for free, essentially, if you purchase it. And they both fit. The thing is, both of these bonuses fit. It makes no sense to, hey, if you buy this course about copywriting, I'm going to offer you my free river rafting guide. I don't care what the river rafting guide's worth. It could be worth $10,000. It makes no sense to go with a copywriting course. Another example was Josh Turner's The Appointment Generator. The only two bonuses I offered were that same $100 event, which is a $2,000 course, so not a big deal there. But I also offered a mastermind, 4-week mastermind, where you're going to get together with other members of the community and you're going to have access to me and my team. And, I have a background for years in the insurance industry. So I know a lot about what the people are going through. And, we truly did value that at thousands of dollars because we don't offer that. It's not for sale. If I did sell it, probably would sell it for $2,000 as an add-on. So we offered that as an exclusive bonus. And the key here is to offer something that fits and to make it valuable and attractive that people go, you know what, I am going to take advantage of that. Maybe you have a $197 course that you have. You sell it for $197, but this $2,000 course, you're going to make an $800 commission on. Well, it would make sense, again, if there's a good fit, possibly to offer that as a bonus because your audience might be saying, I'm going to buy that. I really want to buy that $197 course, but now that I can get it for free, okay, I'll fork it over. I'll decide to finally buy. And one last tip on bonuses here. Make sure that you don't give the bonuses out, that you make it clear to your buyers. You get the bonuses after the refund period ends. So you're not giving up these bonuses and then people are getting a refund on the product they purchased. And number 5, have a plan. Do not go into a launch without a plan. I mentioned it before, we have mailing plans where we say, hey, how many emails do you feel comfortable sending? So you're going to send 5 emails. Great. Then here are the best days to email. Here's what email you should send on those days. Oh, you're going to send 8. Well, here's the best days to mail and here's what emails to send. Develop a plan and stick to it. Now, that doesn't mean you can't call an audible and say, well, I'm going to add an email. And one of the things that we found most common were however many emails people said they were going to send at the beginning of the launch, they typically ended up sending 20 or 30% more. They went with I'm going to send 3 and they sent 5. Hey, I'm going to send 5 and they send 6. They get into the competition. They get in, they see what it can do. They see what one email can do and how much of the needle it can move. And okay, I'm going to add 1 more. I'm going to add 2 more, And so have a plan from the get-go. How many times are you going to share on Twitter? What times a day are you going to share on Twitter each day or Facebook or Instagram? What do you need from the JV manager? In my case, me, if you're working on one of our launches, what do you need? So one of my plans is I'm going to put up a blog sidebar during the pre-launch content that says, go opt into this free video series. Well, you need the blog sidebar. So that means you need to ask the JV manager days in advance, I need this size blog sidebar. Can you get that to me? Sure. In my case, I'll get it to you. I'll find a way to get it to you. And so typically it's going to be 300 by 250. And we probably already have it done and we'll send it to you. But have that plan and for the most part, stick to it. But hey, that's not the last one. I said it's called the 5 pillars of your best launch ever, but I have a number 6. And that number 6 is a go big and sell with authority. You know, the worst thing in the world is a scared seller. Yeah, I recently spent, probably about an hour on the phone with this guy. He is a highly successful entrepreneur. Guy's making well into 6 figures online. He's somebody I look up to. And when he revealed his sales strategy for a promo that he was promoting, for a launch that he was promoting, I mean, I cringed. I was like, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me. The guy was selling scared. Now, it's easy for me to judge. I do the same flipping thing. You know, I get into a launch and I go, well, what if it's, I don't know, what if my audience doesn't respond? You know, what if they don't do super well? You know, what if they don't respond to this? What if I don't get enough clicks or whatever? What if they hate me for promoting this? And that's a problem. You know, I can't judge this guy because I go through the same thing. But the key is to sell with authority. You know, one of the best ways to do that is to be picky about what you promote. I wrote a blog post about this a while back, and I said that my first rule of affiliate marketing is this: don't promote crap. Don't promote crap. Because if you're promoting crap, then you're going to sell scared. You're going to be afraid of how your audience is going to respond. You're not going to sell with authority. You're not going to write good email copy. Your fear and your doubt that you have, your fear of how your audience is going to respond, your doubt in the quality of the product comes across when you write email copy. You think about if you're selling to somebody on the phone and you're not really sure about what you're selling, and you have fear that they're going to say no, you mean to tell me that's not going to come across in your voice? Of course it is. But it even comes across in print. It even comes across in the way you write. And when I write scared or I have doubt, I don't write in my normal style. I write in more of a style that my 12th grade English teacher would approve of. But when I write with passion about a product and I believe in it and I have no fear and I just know that this is going to be good for my audience, I write in my own style. And my own style is very similar to the way I speak. It is not necessarily grammatically correct. I use a lot of all caps and I use a lot of single word sentences and I use a lot of made up words, and things like that. In other words, I would fail English class my senior year. So you can tell. If you go back and look, if you're on my email list, you've been on my email list long enough, and you go back and look at the last 50 sales emails I've sent, you can tell where I'm selling scared and where I was selling with doubt. And that's my mistake because I didn't follow my own rule, which is don't promote crap. And I remember, I think it was Tim Ferriss who said, and I'm paraphrasing here, he basically said, if it isn't a heck yeah, it's a no. If it isn't a heck yeah, it's a no. And when you're selective about what you promote, you can tweet this. When you're selective in what you promote, it allows you to sell with confidence. And that's what I mean by going big and selling with authority. So one of the easiest ways to do that is to ask yourself this question: would I recommend this product to my best friend or my mom, assuming it's a good fit for them? You know, if your mom is not an insurance agent and the product is related to insurance, that's not what I mean. Of course, you wouldn't recommend it to your mom. But let's just say your mom was interested in learning more about email copywriting. Would you recommend Ray Edwards Copywriting Academy to them? I can tell you that I would. I would recommend that to my friends and encourage them to spend $1,000. If the answer to that question is no, if you wouldn't encourage them to buy it, whether you had an affiliate link or not, don't promote it, because you're going to sell scared. You're going to sell with doubt, and it's going to come across in your promotion. And when you're scared and when you're doubtful, you can't go big. You can't sell with authority. So that's selling with authority. The going big part means if you're going to promote something, you want to make it your best launch ever. That's what it says at the top of the screen, your best launch ever. If you're going to do that, then go big, which goes back to repeated contact, using different outlets, getting personal, offering exclusive bonuses, and having a plan. See how all those tie together? So I know I had a bonus one. Surprised you with that one, hopefully. But those are the 5 or 6 pillars of your best launch ever. Again, I'm Matt McWilliams. You can find me at mattmcwilliams.com if you're not watching this on my website or through my website. You can also find me on Twitter. Ask me questions anytime. Hit me up on Twitter and ask me your questions. Ask me your affiliate marketing questions at Matt McWilliams 2. Again, don't forget the 2 or you'll get an egg. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great one.